Landlord entered my apartment without permission and took photos. What can I do? I never thought I'd be the one writing a dramatic story on Reddit, but here we are. I'm Vicente, and I live in a small, cozy apartment in downtown Lisbon. It's nothing fancy, but it's home. That was until last Tuesday. I came back from work, exhausted as usual, just wanting to kick back and relax. But as soon as I opened the door, something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but you know that gut feeling when something just isn't right? Yeah, that was me. I dropped my keys on the kitchen counter and headed to the living room, and that's when I saw it. My photo album was lying open on the coffee table. I hadn't touched that thing in weeks. Panic started to set in. Did I leave it like this? I began to question my own sanity until I noticed a framed picture of my family that had been moved slightly. Now, I knew for sure that someone had been in my apartment. My heart pounded as I checked each room, but everything else seemed to be in place. Then, the thought struck me. The landlord, João, had the spare key. But surely he wouldn't just come in without permission, right? That's illegal, isn't it? The next day, I decided to confront João. I mean, if it wasn't him, then who the hell was creeping around my place? I found him outside, fiddling with the garden hose. Hey, João, can we talk for a second? I tried to keep my voice steady, but I could feel the anger bubbling up. He looked up, wiping his hands on his pants. Claro, Vicente, what's up? I came home yesterday and found some of my things moved around. Did you come into my apartment for any reason? His eyes darted away for a split second, but he quickly composed himself. Ah, yes. I had to check the smoke detectors. It's a routine thing, nothing to worry about. I frowned. But why didn't you let me know beforehand? You should have called or texted me. João shrugged, his nonchalance infuriating me even more. I'm sorry if I worried you. I didn't think it was a big deal. I clenched my fists, but I decided to let it go for the moment. I didn't have any proof that he had done more than just check the smoke detectors, but still, it felt wrong. I couldn't shake off the feeling that he was hiding something. A week passed, and I tried to move on, but I couldn't stop thinking about João's unexpected visit. One night, I was scrolling through my phone in bed when I received an anonymous message. It was a link to a real estate website. Confused, I clicked on it and almost dropped my phone. There were photos of my apartment, listed for rent. What the fuck? I muttered, my hands shaking as I scrolled through the pictures. They were recent, and there were even shots of my personal items. That bastard was planning to rent out my apartment while I was still living in it. The next morning, I stormed into João's office. He was sitting behind his desk, looking as smug as ever. What the hell is this, João? I slammed my phone down on his desk, displaying the listing. His face turned pale. Vicente, I can explain. I cut him off. You better start talking. Why are there photos of my apartment online? Are you trying to kick me out? João stammered. No. I was just testing the market. You see, I'm thinking of selling the building, and I wanted to see what kind of interest there was. You can't just do that without telling me. You invaded my privacy. I was yelling now, not caring who heard. I'm sorry, Vicente. It won't happen again, I promise. But his promises meant nothing to me anymore. I was done being polite. I knew I needed to take action, but I wasn't sure where to start. I reached out to my friend Beatrice, who's a lawyer. She was shocked when I told her what had happened. That's a huge violation of your rights, Vicente. He can't just enter your apartment and take photos without your permission. We need to report this. With her help, I filed a complaint against João. The process was long and stressful, but I wasn't backing down. I wanted justice. During the hearing, João tried to justify his actions, but the evidence was clear. The photos, the listing, and the fact that he hadn't informed me beforehand, it was all stacked against him. In the end, the court ruled in my favor. João was fined, and I was allowed to break my lease without any penalties. It was a small victory, but it felt good to finally stand up for myself. Leaving that apartment was bittersweet. It had been my home for years, and I had so many memories there. But after everything that had happened, I couldn't stay. I found a new place, a bit further from downtown, but it felt safe. My new landlord, Teresa, was kind and respectful. She gave me a tour of the place, and it felt right. As I unpacked my things, I realized how much I had learned from this experience. I wasn't going to let anyone take advantage of me again. It was a hard lesson, but a necessary one. Now, every time I hear about someone having issues with their landlord, I tell them my story. I want them to know their rights and to stand up for themselves. No one should have to go through what I did. So, Reddit, what can you do if your landlord enters your apartment without permission and takes photos? You fight back. You seek justice. And most importantly, you don't let them get away with it.